I'm not really sure, but I do know this. It's a reason to celebrate, and we've got the gift for you. David Murphy joins us in studio as we bring you this day's edition of the DLLS Rangers Podcast. Look at Murph, so popular during his days as a Rangers player. One of our favorites, and I know one of your favorites too. And Murph, we appreciate you joining us so much today to celebrate our 1 year, our first birthday, Murph.
Yeah, so do I say happy anniversary or do I say happy birthday?
If you want.
Or I'll just say congrats on 1 year. That's what I'll say.
In this business, that's saying something.
It really
so
is.
I'll take it.
And I don't know if you saw your buddy Elvis on the pregame show yesterday when they celebrated his birthday, but he buried his face in the cake. So we may have you do that later in the show. We'll see. I don't know.
Okay, let me know.
We have some cake
for that. Okay.
Legit.
Yeah, I don't know.
My mouth is kind of blue because of the frosting from the cake. See, it kind of looks a little off.
I can see.
I've been trying to wash it down.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
I hate that I'm out of studio today. I saw the great team picture. I saw the cake. I'm off doing something here. I'm in a green room, Murph. I'm about to put makeup on, as you remember from. Do you guys still do that on your TV now?
Yeah,
they still putting makeup on us.
Oh yeah, Renee still comes and does it like before
the
pregame show, and then she'll come up and I'll flip my mic up and do it like 6th or 7th inning to prepare for the postgame.
Yeah, she'll tidy you up. Yeah,
a little blush. What are we talking?
I just say yes to it, and I trust the powers that be.
Yeah, John. What kind of makeup are you fellas wearing these days?
I wear Clinique, Jeff. To be honest with you, and it's always very uncomfortable to buy. By the way, I mean I go into this, and usually they'll say like, "Oh, she's gonna love this," or she must be dark if you're getting this." I'm like, yeah, whatever. Just give me the stuff and let me get the heck out of here. But anyway, Murph, we're so glad for you to stop by. We're so glad to celebrate this with you. We want to remind our viewers in the chat that today that Die Hard special is still available. So please make sure you take advantage of our Die Hard special, our football club Die Hard special. It's coincidental with our 1 year anniversary, $36 to become a Die Hard. And Jeff, as you know, just before we hit the air today, big breaking news. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are engaged.
Wow. Holy underwear. I did not know that.
Yeah,
that's exciting. I mean, my wife is going to be doing cartwheels. She's in Boston right now on work, but I guarantee you that's all she's going to talk about at these work meetings. So hope she doesn't get fired. But she's going to be pretty pumped up.
Yeah, that's pretty good news as the NFL season starts. But the real news, the Ranger-related news that we did get just a few minutes ago is the fact, and we've been talking about this for a few days, the schedule is out. Murph, from your perspective when you were playing, was it a big deal? Like, did you kind of pour over it right away as soon as it came out?
I think I looked at like the main things. I looked at who we're playing opening day. You look at the long road trips. Maybe where the summer road trips are to see like where family might be able to go with you. And I guess maybe Memorial Day, July 4th, like those types of days. But for the most part, you look at it, you forget about it, and then you revisit it in the offseason.
Sure, yeah. So speaking of 4th of July, Jeff, did you notice there's the rare Friday off day when the Tigers are here for 4th of July weekend? The 3rd of July is a Friday, and it's an off day.
Well, I mean, then that's 2 Friday off days because of the as is the custom usually early in the schedule, the day after opening day is a Friday and it's an off day, and it's for weather. So with the Rangers opening in Philly, where the weather's probably pretty volatile in late March, might have to make use of that weather day.
Yeah,
I don't get it. I just don't get it.
I know, just a brilliant way for Texas, with an indoor stadium and beautiful weather anyway, to start on the road in March in Philadelphia and Baltimore.
I guess if you think about it, like since the new ballpark opened, they've either started at home or they started in Toronto one year, right? So bad climate, but they're indoors.
Right.
So maybe it was the time that they had to get used to the cold weather. They had to take their turn having a cold weather road trip to start the season.
Yeah, that's possible.
Is there anything worse, Murph, than playing baseball in the really cold?
So I guess the best way that I can put it is, people always used to say, what is it like playing baseball in 100-degree heat? And I'm like, well, that's what I knew. That's what I grew up in as a kid.
Sure.
And then I go to Cleveland. Now the second year wasn't that bad, but the first year was miserable.
Yeah.
And I always told people I would much rather play baseball in 100-degree weather than in 40-degree weather, or even like low 50s isn't my favorite either. Like let's stay 60 or above here.
Well, and now that you're coaching your kids, your boys, those early tournaments are awful.
Gosh.
They're the worst.
And we've gotten lucky for the most part. This year was bad. Like this was the first year where I busted out the dugout heaters and so on and so forth.
No, last year I came back from spring training and it was a Saturday. Camp broke on Saturday. Came home that night. Sunday morning, 8 a.m. game because they were playing up. And anyway, it was so cold. I was like, I'm going back to Arizona. Sorry, guys, I'm out of here.
Well, and I remember Murph, again, referencing your teammate and buddy Elvis. I think his rule was if it was under 70, he was wearing a face mask and earmuffs and all that. He's from Venezuela. He did not like the cold either.
Yeah, it seems overly dramatic a little bit, but I guess guys that are used to hot weather. But there were the moments, right? So we opened my rookie year, my first year to make the team out of spring training. We opened in Seattle.
Yep.
And it actually snowed, I think, because somebody threw a snowball at me in left field. And of course, Hank Blaylock rolls into the clubhouse that day. He's like, "We're going Green Bay Packers style. Nobody's wearing sleeves." And so I'm kind of a stupid young rookie, and I'm like, all right, whatever, I can deal with it. It wasn't as bad as I expected. I tried to do it in the World Series in 2011, and I'm like, I'm wearing sleeves the rest of the year.
That was my first official day on the beat, and I remember in the press box where it's the coldest place on earth, and I remember looking out and seeing these giant snowflakes. And I was like, "On here," but Millwood pitched. Michael Young hit a home run. You guys lost, it was March 31st of 2008. So no cold weather, please.
No, we can do without it.
100%. But I always looked forward to the schedule thing. It was my favorite day and my wife's least favorite day because I'm not kidding. I would start booking hotel rooms. I don't do that anymore. But Philly's interesting. Dodgers early on in the season. Reds are the home opener. I don't think we mentioned that yet on April the 3rd. So I do wish there were more traditional opponents for home openers.
Sure. Yeah, that's the thing. I noticed
that bugs me a little bit, but
the last game the Rangers play against the Astros, who you presume that both will be something in the hunt at the end of the year. Last time they play each other is August the 2nd. I just hate that.
That's messed up.
It's kind of similar to last year, right?
Yeah,
like last year was bad.
Yeah. No, that ain't right.
No.
And they got to be able to do this. They got to be able to look at it and be like, all right. And I know there's 30 teams. You got to deal with travel and all this stuff and time zone changes. But if you want your fans to be interested at the end of the season, put in the rivalries at the end. Put them in early, put them at the end. But what do I know?
Yeah.
What do I know, John?
Yeah, the last homestand of the year is a bunch of National League East teams, and once again, logically, just like this year, the Rangers will play a team from the American League Central on the road to conclude the 2026 season. What is this?
Yeah, no, Minnesota's may not be a picnic in late September. I'm just saying.
No, that's right too.
I hate it. I hate the schedule. How about that? We've done nothing but complain about it. It's terrible.
Very good. But, we got that off our chest. Go ahead, Jeff. Yeah.
No, I was going to transition to the Rangers are in their last series against the Angels.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing because they've been tough on the Rangers here lately. And last night, just a flat performance, I thought, offensively. I thought DeGrom was okay. I really did. They just haven't figured out. He thinks it's Travis d'Arnaud, and somehow he's, I don't know. d'Arnaud just knows what he's going to throw, but he was okay. He hated it. I haven't seen him that mad in a long time. And but again, you can't win when you have 5 hits and no runs.
Yeah, I didn't watch the entire game.
Good for you.
I turned it on like right after Neto hit the homer. And I think if anything, like I don't think a pitcher should be afraid to throw a heater right down the middle of the first pitch. Like if a hitter gets you, then it gets you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like most hitters don't have their timing and they're not ready to go deep on a fastball first pitch of the game. So you tip your hat to Neto. The d'Arnaud pitch was not a good pitch. Sure. That was a slider that was it was a spinning changeup. There was a minimal movement on it. So it is what it is. But I think it's back to the case that when there's no offense, when there's no momentum on your side, the game just continues to end up like you're putting your pitcher in a tough spot. I will say, like, for DeGrom getting some extra rest, I saw him hit 100, but it looked like he was humping up and pulling the ball a little bit. I mean, I'd rather see him 97, 98, hitting his spot. So I don't think he was efficient or as great as he could have been, but I think that's just the case of a superstar being more difficult on himself than
Yeah, I mean, he was rough on himself. Somebody asked about the other 2 times he faced the Angels, and he goes, "I don't watch those. Those were terrible." And then he just kind of like beat himself up, and I get it because he's the standard, right? I mean, he's the guy that everybody aims for, and it's got to be hard as him to live up to what he's done in the past. But it's still good to see him still pitching. That was his 25th start. Before the season, we were like, 20 to 25. And no way. And then he said he wanted to make 30. And we ran it past Chris Young. And he's like, well, that's nice of Jacob to say that. But we're going to be careful with him. But now he's going to get there. I mean, if you're in contention and if he feels good, he's got to make every start.
Right. And hopefully they stay in contention.
Right.
But if by any chance they fall out, that they're either going to shut him down or really, pump the brakes with him.
Yeah, it'll be like last year when he came back and was throwing like. What?
Hey, Murph.
Oh, go ahead.
Murph, is there anything to that d'Arnaud thing in your experience? Jacob feels like, because Travis caught him so much, he kind of knows what to expect from him. In your time, did you see that kind of happening with guys who had switched teams?
I don't know if I can remember it specifically happening. I can just speak from experience, and obviously I'm speaking it more from a hitter's experience rather than a pitcher's. I will say that I did not like facing guys that used to be friends or that we're still friends but used to be teammates. It was an awkward thing that, we shared a dugout. We used to be on the same side trying to beat the opposition, and now we're facing off against one another. So it was weird, and so maybe there is something a head game there that he just doesn't pitch him well or hit his spots. But obviously Jacob's got the type of stuff where he can get anybody out if he pitches the way that he's capable.
Yeah. To your point, last night Brock Burke hit Josh Smith, and they're really good friends.
Yeah,
and so Josh got hit and it hurt, and he smiled at Burke and kind of took a step toward him, and the umpire hopped out, and afterwards Josh was he had no idea that we're really good friends, and they talked after the inning, Burke and Smith. But yeah,
and similar, a few weeks ago, Bassett
hit
Simeon, right?
Yeah. And they're really good buds. Yeah. It's what happens. Free agency these days, right?
Right. That's the way the game is played now. We got more coming up as we also got fun news yesterday as we learned that Ron Washington is recovering and recovering well. We'll talk about Wash and we'll talk about some of David's memories of Wash, which are fantastic. It's all coming up next. It's the DLLS Rangers Podcast. First, though, I want to tell you about Shady Rays, my favorite sunglasses by far. They have so many great styles. They have so many great colors, and they're wonderful sunglasses, polarized sunglasses that won't break your budget. Not as expensive as some of the big guys, but they are definitely as good or better than any that you can buy from any manufacturer out there. And by the way, if they break or if they get scratched or if you even lose them, you just get in touch with Shady Rays and they replace them for you, or they'll fix them if it's possible. But you even have the opportunity, if you lose your sunglasses, which is a YP, right? Your problem, not this time. Shady Rays is going to replace them for you. Use that code DLLS at shadyrays.com and you can save 35% off your brand new polarized sunglasses at Shady Rays.
Yeah, the game time, and it doesn't involve Nicole. It actually involves going to a Major League Baseball game, and you can get Rangers tickets to every MLB team through the Game Time app. And if you download the app and use the code DLS, you get 20% off your first purchase. I see a lot of games every year, obviously, and but the one person in my family who loves going to games is my daughter. She's 10, and it's like when she sits down, unless she has to go to the bathroom, she's not getting up. And it's crazy because, I almost fell asleep during last night's game. But she will not leave. And she gets mad at my wife and her brother when they want to go do something. She's not leaving. So if you're like Molly Wilson and you love to watch baseball, again, go to the Game Time app. It's popcorn, it's peanuts and Cracker Jacks and all that stuff. It's the sounds of the game, the smells of a ballpark, and then you get to watch the best at what they do. So download the Game Time app today.
Yeah, we're big fans of it, and we are big fans of Ron Washington, as we've told you many, many times. And, of course, sometime in the middle part of June, we got the word, and at that point, the Angels were already greatly exceeding anyone's expectations. Well, I should say anyone but Wash's expectations for this year, but nobody expected them to be 500 or above, which they were at that point in the year. And then we get the word that Wash is going to have to take a medical leave. And at the time, it was not disclosed why. We knew. Jeff knows him really well, as does Murph. I know him well. We know he's had some heart issues before. He comes back to the ballpark yesterday. He has a home still here in Arlington. And he spoke to the media for the first time, Jeff, and divulged that he had quadruple bypass surgery 8 weeks ago.
Yeah, he kind of like true Wash fashion. He said, I wanted to do this once. I wanted to do it for all you guys, and he went in. I mean, it was a pretty good blow by blow. He had the dates. He initially just said bypass surgery. And so, he left out a little detail, but so I asked him, Wash, how many bypasses? He said 4. We're like, what? He's like, yeah, and then he started talking about he was in the recovery room and he woke up and he had all the stuff on him and his wife wasn't in the room and he said he thought he had died and he had to ask one of the he was pulling off the stuff, the KG stuff, and somebody came up and was like, what are you doing here? And he asked the guy, did I die? And the guy said, no, you're here, you're with us. He seems like he has a new lease on life. I mean, if he had said, I'm not going to any doctor, he might be dead right now. And I think he realizes that. And he said he's very grateful for the doctors because they have saved his life. And, he's ready to get back. Guy hasn't been away from the game for this long in his life, as an adult, outside of COVID, and this is a huge deal for him just to be around the team. So he's going to be here today and tomorrow. He's going to go to Houston. While they're in Kansas City, he's going to pack up, go back to New Orleans, pack up, and go to Anaheim and meet him there. And then he's gonna stay with him the rest of the year. It sounds like he's being smart about it. He's not trying to beat any timelines that the doctors have given him, and he has quit smoking.
Saw that.
I'd hate to be the doctor that had to tell him that, but I think Wash realized he's not messing around anymore. He doesn't want to go through this again. But it was great to see him. When he was here in April, I went and talked to him. For you do with Wash. It doesn't. You plan to go in there for 5 minutes, and you end up being in there for 30. And it just seemed like he seemed old to me. It just seemed like he was tired, and so maybe that was the start of it. I don't know, but he had the energy yesterday, and I am thrilled that he's back.
Yeah, and it's amazing. One of the quotes he said about giving up smoking, which was such huge news from the press conference, and one of the quotes I saw, Jeff, was that he said, "Hey, if anybody sees me smoking, I give you permission to come up and slap me across the face." But Murph, can you imagine Wash without the cigarettes?
Well, first, I can't imagine what Jeff said. You said Wash being tired when you saw him. Like I don't know if he's ever been tired when I've ever seen him before. I can't imagine without the cigarettes. I thought you were going to say when he woke up from the surgery that he was going to ask where his fungo was. So, he could head straight to the field. You're just talking about a guy that's a baseball lifer. And obviously, just in terms of what you mentioned, John, I mean, pretty consistently between every single inning of a game, he would go back there and he would smoke a cigarette. So, I think baseball needs Ron Washington and his passion. So hopefully this is the very beginning of the reset button for his health, because he didn't seem like a guy that's ever going to retire from the game. Like He is going to have the jersey ripped off of him.
Yeah, and this is the last year of his contract. The Angels have an option, and he was asked about that. He said, "I want to keep managing." Perry Manassian was in the room, so Wash said, "Perry will make that decision." But they seemed to really care for Wash. I mean, they gave him the time off. Initially, it was just a few days, and it turns out, I mean, he was in the hospital for more than 2 weeks. They sent him in to get the tests. And, and then a few days later, like, he's not going to be returning. Well, he was in the hospital. And, he had the surgery on June the 30th. A lot of the players came. He said that Trout was one of them who came to visit him in the hospital. And so, obviously, the players love the man. It's hard not to. And I would think that if you look at this team play, it's a Wash team. They're fighting. They're not talented enough, but they're competitive, and they're out there and they're getting better. And I think that's kind of the hallmark of Wash. In Wash's teams, you guys were initially, in 07 and 08, you had some star players, but you were pretty much a young team, like you,
right,
and other guys, and you became a championship club.
I guess there were some rough moments at 07. But we were okay, for the last few months of that season.
Right.
Once I got there and guys were playing well and some guys were tipping. 08, we were close. I think we were 4 games under 500 or so, and then
4.
And then 09 was like one of those seasons where, had the playoff format been then the way it is now, we would have gotten it.
Right. You would have been the wild card team. Yeah. Because the Angels ran away with it that year.
Murph, was Tito Terry Francona your manager when you made your debut in Boston?
Yeah, I had him in Boston and I had him in Cleveland.
Okay, yeah. So when you came from Tito to here, and Wash was new in his managerial time as well, what was that transition like for you?
I don't know if I really paid attention to some of those factors. Obviously, I hadn't been in the big leagues long enough to really I don't know, think through who my coach was. Like, I was just trying to take care or control what I could control, and put a stranglehold on a major league job. And so Wash was great. He was positive. I don't know, like, I mean, I still kind of came up in the day where just kind of kept your mouth shut. And
Right.
I didn't really have much interaction with any of my coaches or managers that much until I got comfortable at the major league level. And I would probably say that took a few years. So, yeah, interactions were minimal. I mean, there would be times where I'd turn on the TV and he was, he was doing an interview, or, that he would speak well of me. So, I mean, those were good things early on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you could tell, like, I mean, his passion for the game, the way that he loved it, the way that he was out on the field early, the way that he was breaking a sweat, that caught your attention because you didn't see that from every single manager. But yeah, I mean, and as you grow in relationship and you spend, I mean, I got to spend 6+ years with him as my manager. You obviously grow in relationship with somebody, and gosh, I don't know if there's a manager out there that makes the game more fun.
That's saying something. I mean, and this is a job. You guys, it's your job. You have to go to work every day, and I'm sure you run into people at work you don't like.
Yeah.
Just like John, I don't like him. He doesn't like me, and so but we make it work. But you got to have somebody there that keeps it lively.
But you can also, and everybody's personality is different, but you can choose to let I can only imagine how stressful a managerial job is, but you can choose to let that stress dominate you, kind of just wear you out, bring you down, or you can choose to just be joyful in it and make the most of it and come to the ballpark with energy every day. That's what, and still does.
Yeah.
What do you think? What is your fondest memory of, I hate to put you on the spot, Murph, but of Wash and your relationship with him?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of funny ones, and those are the ones that are well documented. I would say, from a sincere standpoint, I'll never forget, like, we remember, all of us remember when people will go to bat for us and fight for us, right? And so the timeline, or just the path of my career, we had a ton of depth on all the Rangers teams that I played on. And so it would just so happen every single year that I would show up to spring training, and I would probably have ended the season strong, but I would be pushed back to the bench for the most part because they wanted to keep Josh out of center field. They wanted to play him on a corner, and I didn't grade out defensively to where I was going to be a plus center fielder, and I was going to be somebody that they wanted out there. So Josh would play left. I would get pushed to the bench. Sometime throughout the course of the season, whether it be injuries or whatever it was, I would find a way to get at bats. But going into 2012, Wash told me day one, he called me in his office in spring training. He said, Murph, he's like, I want you to focus on one thing this spring. I want you to focus on your defense. And as long as you take care of that, I'm going to fight for you to make sure that you are in the starting lineup on opening day. And so that happened. There was even a lefty on the mound that day. I started, for the most part, I think I kind of got the nod just because it was opening day, because it was something special, despite the lefty. Ended up being a platoon player for the most part with Craig Gentry throughout the course of that season, and then started to perform well against lefties when I got the opportunity. And then he gave me the chance to play every day against lefties and righties. So, just the opportunity and knowing somebody is backing you, knowing the manager is behind you, that makes you feel really good as a player.
Yeah,
that's
awesome. Just fantastic. Let's get to some of the funny memories, too. We've got more with Murph. We'll get to some of those funny memories. We'll also talk to Murph just about the strange year that the Rangers have been having. That's coming up next. It's the DLLS Rangers Podcast. Hey, and it's time for you to realize that you could go to Las Vegas with our guys, our team, for a Cowboys game against the Raiders. Check that out, November the 15th through the 18th. A great, great opportunity to be with our guys and to then see the Cowboys playing in Las Vegas, Nevada. Man, that's a really cool place to go to watch a game, and we encourage you to be a part of this trip. True Fan Travel is our partner with this, and all you have to do is go to that QR code that you see on the screen and get signed up. It's an all-inclusive trip that includes your flight, your hotel, and your tickets to the game. It's a Monday night game, which means you've got Saturday and Sunday to sit in the sports book or wherever you'd like in Las Vegas and make money. We're offering you an opportunity to go to Vegas and just make a bunch of money. And we're confident that each and every one of you will do that. So sign up for our trip and go to Las Vegas with True Fan Travel and our crew from the Dallas Cowboys.
Speaking of some friendly wagering, David, if Rule 21 still applies to you, don't listen. But Prize Picks, daily fantasy picks, they're the biggest one, the best one in the industry. PrizePicks.com/DLLS, and you can get $50 for free after your first $5 wager. I do this every day. I'm again, like I've said, I don't bet the mortgage, but it's just a fun way to learn about games, to heighten your interest in the games, and to maybe make a little money and feel like you're doing something, a little, I don't know, fishy, but it feels pretty good. Whatever. Again, it's Prize Picks, PrizePicks.com/DLS, and you can get started today.
Celebrating our 1-year anniversary with a great gift for us and for you, and that's an opportunity to talk to David Murphy. Of course, Jeff and I are lucky because every time Murph is on the broadcast, we get to talk to him as well because he's down there doing the work that he does. Not all broadcasters do this, but I love to see it, and Murph and I go way back. He was talking off the air before the show about how long he's been in his house. And I remember when we were working together, obviously more than 5 years ago, when you were still building the house, Murph. So it's been fun working with you and fun to see you evolve into a really, really good broadcaster. Have you enjoyed the process?
Yeah, it took some getting used to. Doing the pre and the post game show early on, that came a little bit more natural. I don't feel like there's a ton of prep in that for me. Maybe some little detailed statistics here and there, but for the most part, I feel like it was just an extension of being a fan. I've always loved the game, and that continued post retirement. So I would kind of carry that into any pre and post game show that I did. When I got the opportunity to do color, and at first I didn't even think that opportunity would ever happen. People would ask me toward the end of my career what I was going to do post-retirement, and they would throw broadcasting in the mix. Do you think that's an option? And I always said I don't know if I'm quick enough on my feet to be a broadcaster. So there is kind of a method and a routine to it that I feel like I've gotten used to a little bit. I would say that it took me a good 100 games to actually get comfortable in the booth. I used to be scared to death and anxious doing the opens, and then there would be moments where I would just make mistakes throughout the course of the broadcast, and I would let that bring me down throughout the course of a game. So I've gotten used to the fact that those things are inevitable. They're going to happen. I think more than anything, I just love being around the game. I prepare and do the best I can. A lot of times I still walk away from a broadcast not really knowing, did I do well? Did I not do well? It's not like you can look at a box score as a player. But either way, obviously this franchise is where I spent the best years of my career. I have the best memories. So to still have a job, to be employed by the franchise, and to be around the guys, to be at the ballpark, is something that I really enjoy.
You're doing what, 45 games this year, roughly?
Yeah, roughly.
Is that the perfect number for you?
I don't know. I think just as I want to be around for my family, and each year as our kids get older, I'll continue to my wife and I will continue to monitor that and figure out exactly what that number, what the best number is.
Yeah. Well, she's here, so he's got to watch. He's got to watch out.
Yeah. I'll tell you this too, Murph. With regard to that box score thing, you don't need one. First of all, as everybody's told you, you're great at it. Second of all, the one thing I learned in 40 years of broadcasting is if you're bad, they'll tell you. Right? so you're fine. Nobody's saying bad things. And I know about a year ago, we had this conversation and you were saying, yep, they're already in touch with me about doing it next year. And that is, that's one of those things for people who are kind of on a year-to-year thing is that, yeah, okay, good. They still like me enough to let me do more of these,
I guess that's the measuring stick, right? If they keep asking you, I guess you're doing okay.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And so this team, it's really, and I've been covering, the Rangers since 1990 and was part of the broadcast from 96 on. And this is maybe the strangest team I've ever seen, Murph, in the sense that, we saw what we saw over the weekend where they just, they pitched great, which is a consistent, and then they raked and it was great. And then all of a sudden, a game like last night that we've seen so often this season, I admit I was the one that used our account, our DLLS Rangers Twitter account to say, is this a rerun? It feels like I've seen this game before. And of course, everybody piled on that one. But it's really strange how they'll just have not only games, Murph, but stretches where this happens.
Yeah. I don't know if I know how to put my finger on it. I think the weird thing is that it's really been the rule and not the exception. Like there's been moments where they bust out of the All-Star break. They win 2 out of 3 from Detroit, who at the time is the best team in baseball. Then they sweep the A's, which you could say the A's aren't a very good team, but the A's and any divisional opponent, I mean, we see it with the Angels this year.
Right.
Any divisional opponent can be difficult. And then the Braves, who are full of talent, and maybe their pitching is down this year. They go out there and they sweep the Braves. So they win 8 out of 9 on a homestand. And you're saying, all right, we've waited for this stretch all year long. And then they go on the road and they don't really resemble the team they were at home. Well, similarly, we see them sweep Cleveland over the weekend. And you're thinking last night, all right, we've got DeGrom going. We've got some offensive momentum. Tonight should be a win if we're making a bet on this, if we're statistical people judging by what we've seen, this should be a win. And sure enough, they don't resemble the team that they were over the weekend. So I think it's tricky because if you look at the team, say 4 or 5 years ago, those were some tough years. With all due respect, like when a guy like Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is hitting third for you, and like I said, because he is a really good baseball player, but he's not a 3-hole hitter. Right?
No.
So those were teams that you weren't necessarily surprised when they were losing, but now like the roster is full of. I don't know if you're going to say 1 through 9, like chock full of talent, but there is plenty of talent on this major league roster. And I think it hurts when the pitching has performed the way that it has and you're wasting so many good pitching performances. So once again, it's the nature of the game. You can't predict it. And that's why baseball is beautiful. But as a fan of the team, when you're rooting for the team and you know that they're so close and in so many of these games, it's hard when, like you said, John, it seems like so many of these games are Groundhog Day. And there was even a time there, it's like there was a shift in losing, right? Because early on, the offense, the theme was that the offense was not challenging the opposing pitching staff. They were making quick, easy outs, and opposing pitchers were just rolling through their lineup, right? But I feel like once they got comfortable under Booney, there was a little bit of a change. Say Evan Carter comes up, and you've got more guys that are working pitchers deep into counts. But I guess overall, if we're talking about consistency, the performance with runners in scoring position hasn't been there. And I think more than anything, also, if you're talking about what the front office and the coaching staff anticipated coming into the season versus reality, and that is the ability to hit the long ball. I think there's probably been a pretty big discrepancy because you've got to be able to go deep a few times a game or on a consistent basis to be able to score runs in Major League Baseball today. And I just don't think in the power department, reality is what everybody perceived opening day.
There's been a couple stories about how Globe Life Field is now a pitcher's park. I wonder if the numbers, and I haven't looked into them, but like if you're at a pitcher's park, does that mean that is it because your offense is so bad? I mean, the numbers go the other way.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just wonder if
I will say so. Like if you look at, I kind of run through some stats every now and then. I was looking at ballpark statistics within the last month, and like Globe Life Field is, if you're talking about runs per game, it's one of the worst in the major leagues, and you have to factor in the home offense, right?
Yeah,
I know, and you got to factor in the home offense, and you got to factor in the home pitching
staff.
So the pitching staff is holding down the opposing offenses. So there's an obvious reason why there haven't been runs scored at Globe Life this year.
But like you see the guys who hit home runs come in and hit home runs. Kyle Schwarber hit a home run, and you just see the guys who are like, oh, this guy can go deep here, and boom, he does. So it seems like it's maybe it is a little more pitcher friendly, but I don't think it's this pitcher friendly. I think it's the Rangers have a good pitching staff. They don't have a good offense. So I don't know that we can call this a pitcher's park full on yet, and but I do like some of the things that have happened offensively the last, let's say, 10 days of 2 weeks. I think Wyatt Langford should bat first. I think that seems pretty apparent. I think when he did it for the first time, I think it changed his approach a little bit. At least he's drawn a lot more walks. He seems a little bit more selective. I think Corey should always bat second. I think, especially if you're not getting in, if you're only getting one guy on in front of him, why bat him third? And you want that extra at bat. So I love Corey. Such a good hitter. Wyatt, I really, really like. But then it's like, I don't know, and that's been with Evan hurt because Evan was coming on. Marcus could still do something every once in a while. This is aggravating, but it seems like there are a lot of 5, 6, 7, 8 hitters, and you can only bat one in each spot. So I think that this offseason there's going to be some changes.
I think so. Exactly what that.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I just think it's time. So, but
yeah.
And to your point,
Jeff,
the defense has been so good, and the pitching's been so aggravating.
So one of the days when the offense was in such a funk, Murph, Jeff asked the manager. He asked Bruce Bochy, "Hey, how many guys can you bat in the 9-hole?" Because they all kind of look like they should be there right now, and obviously there's only one. And look, they've done better. Jock Peterson has improved. He's had a great month. Rowdy Tellez has been a really big surprise. And we hear that, and we see it. He's a presence in the clubhouse. And in some ways, too, I think that's a positive. I mean, the joy and laughter and loudness, for lack of a better word, that he brings, that can have an effect in a clubhouse. Can it, Murph?
I think so. I guess like you're looking at a guy in Tellez who gets an opportunity, whether you're released from a team, DFA'd from a team, and then you find new life elsewhere. And I guess Seattle could be a hard place to hit as well. And, you find a group of guys that you like, maybe a hitting coach that works for you, or whether it's you feel comfortable playing for Boch, whatever it is, when something clicks there, I mean, those can be good signs on guys with, obviously Rowdy, a guy with power, and they need power. So yeah, for sure. I mean, it's been great to see him contribute.
It has been, but is he back next?
Probably not.
Yeah.
That's kind of what this. You try to pick up bits and pieces here from the edges and hope that good things happen. But you still need guys that are going to be regulars, that aren't going to be platoon players. You can't have Jock Peterson and Rowdy Tellez on your bench, half the year, because what moves are you going to make? They can't pinch run. They can't go play left field. you're really limited with what they can do, and that limits the manager. You can have one of them, and of course one of them's going to make a lot of money next year, but you can't have two. So anyway, we can talk about that another time.
Yeah, that's such a deep what do they call, a rabbit hole that we're starting down. But coming up next, I got to duck out of here. But Murph, just be nice to Jeff, even though we don't like each other much. I don't want him to be here. So anyway, Murph, thanks for joining us. I'm going to duck out. It's our cleanup segment, and Jeff's going to carry it on with Murph on the DLLS Rangers podcast.
See you, John.
Yep. Thanks, John.
All right, this is where I steer the ship right into the iceberg, but I can at least handle the Die Hard ad read here. This is our 1 year anniversary today, and we have a special going on. Not necessarily to celebrate the anniversary; they just kind of coincided. But limited time offer here: $36 to become a Die Hard for the year. You get the free football club T-shirt. They're great shirts. We'll talk about them in a minute. $36 gets you 20% off of our events. It gets you special access to events we have, like we had a bunch of people up to a bunch of diehards up to our studio last night just to show them around, and we're going to have some watch parties and all that stuff. And you get premium writing from our Cowboys crew, Clarence and Ali, Tim Cato over there on the Mavericks, and Sam Nestler and the Stars. I do okay on the Rangers every once in a while. So and we put it behind the paywall because it's that good. It's better than the morning news. I'll say it again. Star Telegram, don't even bother. So check us out. Become a diehard today, and you get the free shirt. Like David Murphy right now is getting a free shirt for coming on our show today. You can wear it when you're out working on the farm.
Thank you.
The acreage, or you can wear it to the ballpark and make Evan mad. Whatever you want to do, it's yours. They're $34.99. So if you get this $36 deal, it's like you're getting a shirt for $1, or you're getting the Die Hard for $1. Either way you want to look at it, it's a hell of a bargain. But you've seen we have new Cowboy shirts out. We have our Dallas collection out. I'm wearing the tried and true Texas Chew shirt. It's one of our Ranger shirts that we have, and they're a quality item, as I like to say. John Radigan has a bunch. I have a bunch, but we're not just shirts. We have hoodies. We have beer steins, coffee cups, flags. And they swear hats are coming. I haven't seen them. It's been a year. This Hall of Fame hat I got last year at the Adrian induction is starting to wear out. So I need some DLS hats. And Murph, you could probably use one too, although I like that hat. One. Yeah. Oh, there you go. All right, it's time to do some batting cleanup. John's favorite category. We'll try to do him proud. Cal Raleigh. You heard of him?
Heard of him.
He hit number 50 last night. Pretty amazing what this guy's doing.
I think so. I spoke at a breakfast this morning with Chris Davis, knowing that Chris hit 50 homers back in 2013. I gave him a little bit of love, and been 33 players ever to hit 50 home runs in a major league season, and you guys did it multiple times, right?
Yeah.
So only 43 seasons. We're talking about a game that has seen 21,000 players in its 100+ year history. And doing it out of the catching position, which is grueling, doing it as a switch hitter, that's something that's pretty special.
It is. And, I didn't notice this until recently. He's a good right-handed hitter. Like, he's not just hitting balls out. That's not all he does. He can actually hit right-handed pretty well. His average is about 60 points higher, I think, right-handed. Of course, left-handed, he has the torpedo bat. I don't know how you feel about the torpedo bat. I think
they work.
Yeah.
I haven't swung one. So I can't give an opinion.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a fad. But, I mean, this guy, he's now tied with Judge for the lead in WAR. I mean, I gotta think this guy's got to be the MVP. I don't have a vote this year.
Yeah, I would think he's got the momentum for sure. I mean, the MVP, I guess, discounting like the Josh Hamilton season in which he played 5 months.
Right.
It's a 6-month season. So both of these guys have to finish strong, especially if the Mariners find a way to make some noise in the division, win the division. You would think that a big part of that is because of Raleigh. So we'll see what happens. But if it is anywhere, I know WAR today is like the ultimate determination statistically. But even if Judge ends up ahead by a little bit, they're going to give it to Rob. He just had that type of year.
Yeah, and I always thought I'm serious. This is nothing political, but I think WAR discriminates against players because Miguel Cabrera, Triple Crown year, wins the MVP, and there were people saying, "Well, look at his WAR. Mike Trout should have won it." It's like, okay, but this guy did exactly what his team asked him to do, and his team made the postseason. And what was that 13? I don't remember.
That was 12, but then I believe the same thing happened in 13. Like Cabrera won it over Trout. Trout had the better WAR. So, yeah.
I actually voted Chris Davis second that year.
Oh, okay.
I caught a lot of hell for that. But anyway, that's not important. But Cal Raleigh's such a good defensive player. He's not just back there catching the ball.
He won the platinum glove,
He's unbelievable
back
back
really
there.
Good.
So I mean, he's got a lot of value, and if Judge isn't going to be able to play the outfield the last month, that's something maybe to worry about. Also from Seattle, Eddie Vedder. You guys might have heard of him. Some kind of musician from San Diego made his money with up there in Seattle for some band I've never heard of. Anyway, he created the Vedder Cup because the Padres and the Mariners somehow have become the interleague rivals. It was a forced marriage, but Eddie Vedder's all in, and he made the trophy a guitar, an actual guitar, and he awarded it last night to the Mariners, or yesterday to the Mariners, because they won the season series. And there you go. It's kind of sharp. It's got the Mariners logo. It's got the Padres logo, and apparently old Eddie spent some time with it and put his own, as John Radigan explained, spirit onto it. I don't know about that, but kind of cool. It's better than the silver boot.
Something different. That's really neat. Where's that being shown?
I don't know.
Cal Raleigh get to put that above his mantle, or where?
I don't know. I don't know if it hangs in the clubhouse. I don't think they display it in the ballpark. Somebody probably steal it. Yeah, but anyway, as we kind of look at these races, I think the best one's in the NL West right now. I think that one's going to go down to the wire with the Dodgers and the Padres. We've seen them both. And then, we knew what the Dodgers were supposed to be coming in, but injuries are the great equalizer. But they're also starting to get healthy now. How do you see that one going down?
I think it's easy to not want the Dodgers to win. San Diego, I would love to see a team win a World Series that's never won a World Series, obviously, if it's not going to be the Rangers. So the Padres would be a team that I would cheer for, and they've got plenty of star power to do it. Everybody's like, the new thing in recent years has always been bold prediction, right? My bold prediction last year was the Dodgers were going to the playoffs. And they end up winning the World Series, right? But I think baseball is just like the perfect game to where you can spend all the money you want, you can accumulate all the superstars you want. Things still may not go your way. I'm surprised that the Diamondbacks didn't end up in it, but then again, with all the injuries they had to their pitching staff, I mean, their offense is great. We just saw that a few weeks ago, and we'll see it again coming up. And then the Giants, they were good early on, and then they flamed out a little bit. But it's a great division. I'm gonna go Padres.
Yeah, I think if that was the series of the playoffs last year, those two played. I think if it had been a 7-game series, the Padres would have won it. But it wasn't. So I think they've got, they're hot. They know they're angry. They know they can play with this team, and I think I'm going to go with you. I really think that, especially with what they did at the deadline with that bullpen. God Almighty, you only have to get 5 innings from your starter. I mean, and if you're in the lead, you're probably going to win. So that's the closest race. Dodgers are up 1. The Brewers are up 5.5. The Cubs haven't quite gone away. Phillies lead by 6 over the Mets, who the Rangers still have to play. Still have to play the Brewers. Astros are up 1.5 games over the Mariners. 7 game back are the Rangers. They still have 6 to go against the Astros. The Rangers are gonna play a factor in this division race. Don't know that they're gonna win the division, but they're gonna play a factor in it.
Yes, the odds are against them to win a division.
Yeah.
I mean, they still have a chance to get into the postseason through the wild.
Do you think the Blue Jays have the pitching?
I don't know. Like, I don't think like Gausman, Barrios, those aren't, even though they're good regular season starters.
Right.
I don't know if they're good enough postseason starters. But then again, like, you always think back to, like, you would have never thought that like Colby Lewis would be a guy that would have the type of postseason performance that he did. You know, you go back to like a guy like Woody Williams for the Cardinals in the mid 2000s, kind of or Jeff Suppan, maybe, you know, like guys like that. So guys can show up out of nowhere and just dominate.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, the Central race is over. The Tigers they're up 10.5. But the East, you know, the Blue Jays are up 5 over the Red Sox and a half game over the Yankees, and Red Sox just beat up on the Yankees. I think they're done playing each other though. I think. But anyway, I don't know. It just seems like the leads are enough in those other divisions that it's like it's gonna take something strange. But then the AL West and the NL West could go. It's still hard to bet against the Mariners pitching, but seeing what the Rangers pitching, it doesn't guarantee anything.
Well, and as much as we Rangers fans talk negatively about the Astros, like they've proven over and over again that they can get it done. So not like, I guess I'm not cheering for them, but I respect like their recent track record.
So I mean, you were an Astros fan growing up, right? Who are your favorite guys? The Killer Bees?
Biggio, Bagwell, for sure.
Yeah.
I guess those are the easy two. I loved Caminetti.
Yeah.
Like he was a great player. I was sad to see he got traded.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I started watching like the Nolan Ryan, Mike Scott days.
Okay.
So it was great to see the pitching they had early on. Even a guy like Billy Hatcher, you know, random names like that weren't.
Yeah, you know, I need to revisit the '86 NLCS because I was only 11 at the time, and it was such a great series, and so many things happened in extra inning games. I just need to go back and see how close they got, because they were also close in 80 or 79. The Astros.
It was a little before
against,
my time.
Against the Phillies, and so it would have been 80. I just, you know, but they keep finding a way. Whatever they do, whether it's scouting or whatever, or building the team for that ballpark, you can't argue with the results here, since really beginning in 15 when they're the wild card team, they're until somebody knocks them off.
In the fact that, think of they lost Garrett Cole, they lost, obviously they have Correa back now, but they lost Correa. They traded away Tucker. Like they've made some bold moves and let some guys go that you wouldn't think that they should have, and they still find.
Yeah. What do you think of Kyle Tucker? If you're the Rangers, if you're Chris Young, and you've got I don't know, what do you think it's going to take? $30 million a year? A little more than that?
Are we talking $500 million?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if I can pay that guy $500 million. Like I don't. Not sure.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think you do need to look at the totality of it. You know, do you want to sink 10 years into it? And is that what it's going to take?
And if we want baseball players, right? Like at the end of the day, you're paying a guy for what he does on the field, but does he seem like a leader to you? Does he seem like a guy with I feel like you're going to pay a guy that type of money, like he needs to be a little bit above and beyond what he does on the field. And I don't know that he is.
You know, maybe trying to play through the injury was his attempt to do that, and this little hand fracture he's had.
Yep.
He's 28. So, I mean, he's right at the window of those prime years. You know, if you're going to lose your right fielder, the Rangers, if you're going to lose Adolis, pretty good replacement, but
very good replacement.
I mean, that's the interesting thing. And you know, the Rangers in 2000 and I think it was 2015 draft, they took Dylan Tate 4th overall. Kyle Tucker went 5th overall. You know,
well, and I'll ask you this too. And I know, like you just talked about, like there's going to be some changes to the team, but if you take this general lineup right now, and you take Adolis out and you put Kyle Tucker in, do you think there's going to be that big of a difference if we had him on opening day, starting, at the beginning of the year? Like, do you think, I guess in asking that, like, if they're going to spend that type of money, should they go after multiple players? I don't even know who's available on the free agent market this year or who's available through trade.
Yeah.
But like, would you be better served to go try to get 2 or 3 players that are really good, maybe not the quality of Kyle Tucker, to try to lengthen out your lineup and give yourself a little bit?
Yeah, no, that's kind of what they have to weigh, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you're going to have to come back on in the offseason and talk about it then. But that's it for now. We're 1 year old. We're officially in the books. We can't thank David Murphy enough for coming in. John, cut out early. He's got his heart in the right place, though, working a charity event. Me, I'm just here. So anyway, thanks for joining us. For David Murphy, John Radigan, Mrs. Murphy, Andrea, for Ryan Vodders, our producer. We'll see you next time.
We all silly like the mayor.